Today's installment is going to be weak points on the PTR 91 rifle. Now, when I say weak points, these are non-transferable weak points. What do you mean by that, RT Arms? Well, for instance, a lot of people say that this rifle, one of the weaknesses is that it's too heavy. I mean, I've seen some heavy AR-15s. I've felt them. I've felt some heavy AKs, 12, 13 pounds. So the weight, the weakness of being heavy, just as a base rifle, could technically be transferred to another rifle. So these are non-transferable weaknesses that I have found in owning this rifle. And believe it or not, I only have 2 of them. Okay, so there's a picture going around the internet, real badass picture of a fella, but it was during a war in Afghanistan. He's sitting in the back of a Humvee during a sandstorm, and he's got his thumb over the bolt carrier because there is no dust cover for this weapon. People say that this is a weak point on this rifle. I haven't had any trouble out of this. It isn't as sealed as an AR-15 would be with the dust cover down. There are some gaps in there, but what I've had trouble from most is the cocking tube channel. Right there, where the charging handle runs along in this open groove. Now, when I say trouble, I don't mean the gun won't operate. It'll still operate. However, if there's debris in this channel, it makes it a lot harder to charge. My problem has been sand getting in there. Sand, fine dirt, stuff like that. I've learned with this gun and transferred it to all other guns that if you have something that's exposed to the elements, metal on metal friction, you want some type of lubrication. But I use oil if it's exposed to the elements. Sand, dirt, wind, dust, snow, whatever. If it's not exposed to the elements, well, if it's not exposed to the elements and it just does something simple like slide back and forth like AK rails, the carrier just sits on the rails, I'll put grease, lithium grease on there. I learned my lesson the hard way, putting a little tiny layer of lithium grease on the charging handle over here, and everything and anything stuck to it that day. Also, on a tangent, everybody talks about first thing you want to do when you get your PTRs, get your extended cocking handle. Controversial opinion. I don't like it that much. I've used the standard charging handle most of the rifle's life. So when I come up, I could easily grab it with my pinky and flip it up. Now once it got to here, so once it's up and ready to be charged, it makes it a lot easier having the extended on there. It definitely beats the original. However, getting it to come up, I've almost got to, I don't know if the camera's gonna show it very well, but I've got to get like second knuckle deep to try to get this thing to come up. The leverage works once it's here, but here I guess I've just gotta get used to it. When I come up and grab it, instead of grabbing it like this, how I used to with the standard charging handle, I've got to really get under there and grab it. So I don't like it so far, but that's operator error. The second weak point is the magazine. Not the magazine itself, but this weapon has a magazine catch. I don't know if you can see in here. Where are we at on this camera? It's sitting in here somewhere. You can probably see it better than I can. It's got a magazine catch, see it? And that magazine catch is steel, I believe. Whenever I insert a magazine, you've got to fight the magazine catch to push it up. Now this could be this specific rifle, and it could have a mag catch that the spring's a little too tight, because I'm estimating that if I loosen the spring up just a tad, the magazine catch would back off a little bit and not make it as hard to get the magazine in. But when I first got the rifle, I thought it was defective because look what it does to the magazines. And I don't know if it does this to everyone's. I've looked and looked, and some of the videos I see the damage here, some of them I don't. But these are aluminum mags, and this magazine catch is a harder metal. So I'm assuming that's what's caused. I mean, it basically digs a groove into the magazine as you're inserting it. And you can see here, look at all the metal shavings. These are the things they don't tell you about on 1,000 round reviews and whatnot. But I did some reading, and it was all on the internet, so take it with a grain of salt. Okay, so magazines are normally a perishable item. They usually don't last as long as the gun does. But it originally came with steel magazines. After a while, I guess H&K said, we're going to do some aluminum magazines. And even though mags are perishable, you can do things like replace the floor plates, replace the followers, get better springs, check the feed lips and stuff like that. These, I guess, were really, really perishable. And they would throw like a pickup truck load of these with one rifle, and people would, you know, call HK and be like, yeah, my magazine's this and that, and they're like, just chuck it and get a new one. Does it make it less effective? No. These aluminum magazines function exactly like the steel. And you can see on the steel one, all it does is just polish it up. It just shines it really good. It's still smooth. It looks like there's some damage, but there's not. It just polishes it up. Whereas this one, there's a visible, and I've inserted this magazine hundreds of times, and it always does it. And I haven't come across this with any other firearm platform. So like I said, I think mine is just from a very tight magazine catch. Now you can get away with this if you're like a bench shooter or something, you know, putting your finger and pressing down on the mag catch, and then inserting it. That way, once you let go and the magazine's already sat in the mag well, you don't have to worry about it producing any shavings or fighting against it. If you buy a new one from PTR, when I bought this one, the magazine well was extremely tight. The magazine well issue cleared up. I put some Mother's aluminum, whatever. I just took it, a little bit of it, and I went around the magazine well here, you know, because over time it's going to polish up. When you keep metal on metal, it's going to polish up anyways. But I just wanted to speed the process up, so I put some of that polish on there. That cleared up the issue, but it's worn itself in. However, the magazine catch is still just as tight as it was on day one. But like with the steel one, it doesn't. The steel one's way easier to insert because you don't have to fight that. It just pushes right past it. Way easier. So, I apologize for not uploading in a while. My GoPro's been on the fritz, but this has been the weak spots of the PTR 91 style rifle. I hope you got something out of it, and thanks for watching.